So what I want to do now is I want to talk with you a little bit about something that is fairly new when it comes to your Amazon selling process, right? So as you get started and you're thinking about what you're going to sell on Amazon, and that is the hardest part. What am I going to sell on Amazon? I want you to recognize that the first part of this process is to get what's called ungated. So Amazon has restrictions on categories that you can sell in. They call that category gating and brand restriction. Now, what this means is that there are some categories that you cannot sell in when you first start selling on Amazon. And there are certain brands that you can't sell even if you can sell in those categories. Let me give you an example. You can sell toys, but you may not be able to sell Barbie. So toys is a category that is not restricted. Whereas there are specific categories that are restricted, such as clothes and shoes. Now, this process that I'm going to share with you is brand new to how Amazon looks at you as a seller selling on Amazon. Now, just to take you back in time, there was a period in selling on Amazon where it was very cut and dry and very specific. Amazon said, if you're selling in this category, you can't sell these items. If you're selling in these categories, you can sell these items. Now it's a little bit more convoluted to the point where it feels and seems as if everything is restricted. So let me start off by sharing with you the categories that are not restricted or ungated, and then I'll give you the list of categories that are gated that you can't sell in. Now, the following categories are categories that are not restricted. So these are categories that even as somebody who's new to selling on Amazon, you'll be able to sell. And by the way, this category restriction, this process of getting ungated, this applies to all sellers, even if you had more experience within your Amazon seller account. So the categories that you can sell in right from the beginning would be electronics, toys, pet products, grocery, housewares, sporting goods, and health and personal care. That's electronics, toys, pet products, grocery, housewares, sporting goods, and health and personal care. Now, the categories that you want to stay away from, those are the categories that are going to be gated, or these are categories that you simply can't sell in when you're first starting to sell on Amazon. They would include the following: automotive parts and accessories, beauty, clothing, collectible coins, jewelry, handmade products, luggage and bags, major appliances, sex toys, shoes and handbags, watches, video, DVD, Blu-ray, and wine. Let me repeat that list again. Automotive parts and accessories, beauty, clothing and accessories, collectible coins, jewelry, handmade products, luggage and bags, major appliances, sex toys, shoes and handbags, sports collectibles, watches, DVD, and wine. These are categories that are restricted. So we had the categories that were ungated, and now these are the categories that are gated. As we're looking at the list, if you're looking at the shoes or the clothes or the handbags, those are things you're not going to be able to sell right away. If you're looking at the categories that is not restricted, so if you're looking at the categories that are unrestricted, you still may have items or brands in those categories that you won't be able to sell. Those will include things like, in the toys, for example, Barbie, Legos, Star Wars. Now, it's not always specific to the brand. Sometimes it's specific to the item or the listing itself. So this is a process and a concept that has been around for a while. But recently, Amazon has made a big change, and I want to make sure everybody is really understanding this process. So, and this, by the way, has caused major issue with so many new people that are selling on Amazon, even people that have been selling on Amazon for a while. This process and this change has had a dramatic impact on the ability for people to find the right items to sell. So we have the categories that are not restricted. Now we have the categories that are restricted. And at the same time, here's what I want you to know. Every time you go to list an item, every time you make the effort to list the item on Amazon, it is going to be restricted. When you list the item on Amazon, you're going to see a button that says apply to sell. Now, it never used to be like that. It used to simply be the items you couldn't sell would have the apply to sell button. But Amazon's changed this. And now everything says apply to sell. Now, here's what we know with certainty. If you do not click the apply to sell button, you will not get approved. We know that, right? That sounds obvious. But what happens is when somebody's new to this process, they look up an item, they say, oh, this looks good, it's profitable, I think it's selling, and they go to list it. And when they go to list the item, they find out that it's restricted, so they can't sell it. And they do this over and over and over again. They never click that apply to sell button. Here's what we know. If you don't click the apply to sell button, you can't be approved. Now, when you do click the apply to sell button, let me prepare you what's going to happen. One of three things can happen when you click that apply to sell button. Only one of three things. Either number one, Amazon is going to ask you for invoices. Now, if you get that option, there's nothing you can do. When Amazon asks you for invoices, they are asking you for legitimate wholesale invoices from an authorized wholesaler. And for most of you, when you're starting out, you're not getting your inventory from wholesalers, you're getting your inventory from retailers. And Amazon will not accept an invoice or purchase receipt from a retailer for you to be able to get ungated for a category or a brand. So if you get the apply to sell button and you click it and the Amazon comes back and says you need to provide invoices, well, then you need to click the back button and look for another product. Now, here's the thing. If you're sourcing your product at Nike.com, let's just use that as an example. If you're sourcing your product at Nike, what's going to happen is that 100% of the items, after you've clicked the apply to sell button, are going to come back with the provide invoices. Why is that? Because everything at Nike is either shoes or clothing. You can't sell shoes and clothing when you're new. You're going to be restricted. And so therefore, it's going to just be an effort in frustration for you. If you're applying to sell in categories like electronics, toys, home goods, the categories that I shared with you that you can start with, then what you're going to find is that when you click the apply to sell button, only 20% of the time will you be required to have invoices. The other 80% of the time, you're going to have only one of two options. Option number one is to watch a video. And I'm not going to give you the answers to the questions in the video, but you're just simply going to watch the video. It's about 1 to 2 minutes long. You're going to have 7 or 8 questions that you need to answer. You answer the questions, and the moment you click submit, you're instantly approved. Amazon is wanting to train you on what to look for when you're selling on Amazon. Amazon wants to educate you to make sure that you understand how the process works. The video is simple. The questions are easy. Once you've answered the questions, you'll be immediately approved. The second approval process, or the second option with the approval, is you'll click the button and you'll immediately be approved. You won't have to watch a video. And that is based on the performance of your Amazon account. So think about it this way. When somebody turns 18 and they get their first credit card, usually they're going to get a $300 to $500 credit limit. Nobody gets a $50,000 credit card when they've never had a credit card before. So what happens is you get the credit card, you pay your bills on time, and the more you do that, the more the credit card company is willing to increase your limit based on your performance. So what happens is that this process of getting ungated is account specific. So one person might click the button and get a video. Another person might click the button and be instantly approved. Everybody's going to be different. There's no list. Amazon does not provide a list that says this is what you can sell and this is what you can't. As you're sourcing your product, You need to list it first before you buy it to make sure that you can sell it. And the way that you do that is by clicking that apply to sell button. And when you do, again, you're going to have 3 options as a result. Number 1 is you're going to have to provide an invoice. If you get that option, you're going to click the back button and go find another product. The second option is watch a video. If you get that option, you're going to watch the video, answer the questions, and you'll be instantly approved. The third option is you click the button, apply to sell, and you'll instantly be approved. And if you just follow that process, you'll find that getting ungated is not that complex of an issue. If you're finding that every single item you're looking at is requiring you to have invoices, then you need to change the category that you're looking at or the brand that you're looking at. It just means that Amazon doesn't want you to sell that brand or sell in that category. All Amazon sellers that start selling on Amazon start the same way. But if you understand the process, then you just need to look up different products to be able to find the ones that you can sell.